And we are back. Pokemon Sun, Hardcore Nuzlocke, the run continues. We're making our way to that final totem battle here, but first we got to take on Nanu, who specializes in dark type Pokemon. We did lose our Brawler here last time to his Persian, so we got to watch out for that. But we are using the newly acquired Toxapex, that water poison typing, insanely tanky. On top of that, it has the Merciless passive, which allows you to crit any Pokemon that is poisoned. So we went ahead and cooked up this little scheme here where we have Venoshock or Venoshock as well, which does double damage to poisoned Pokemon. So really, all we're doing here is just we're going to poison whoever Nanu throws out, and then we are going to double or quadruple our damage depending if we can connect the Venoshock with our passive on top of them being badly poisoned. So it's a really good process, I think. We've cooked up in the back kitchen here. And the Krokorok uses the Swagger to try and confuse us, but this Toxapex is an absolute beefy girl, and I think she'll be able to eat whatever Krokorok does. So we're just going to keep laying down the Toxic Spikes to get the rest of the team poisoned up and ready to go. The Swagger does connect, though, and that is going to be very troublesome, but we do break through with the Toxic Spikes looking very good there. And yeah, we should be able to tank anything, so the confusion is still here, but it's okay. And oh god, can someone please tell me, is poison weak to ground? So I was just chilling, and I was just so excited to use Toxapex, and this is the first time we've gotten him. And literally Nanu, in my face, swaps out the Sableye for the Crocodile, which is ground type, which also has Earthquake. And I knew that. And I've played Pokemon before, so I knew poison was weak to ground. And for some reason, on top of being confused, I just stayed in and was so hungry for this poison, merciless Venoshock sweep with the Baneful Bunker that I just literally threw Toxapex to his death. Nanu didn't even have to blink. Like, he just put him down like it was nothing. On top of that, he used Swagger multiple times trying to communicate to me, hey, I can kill you in one shot. Maybe you just want to swap out and keep him safe. And look at him. He's just chill. He's just like, bro, you just let me kill your Pokemon for free. And as you can see, I don't know what I'm doing now. I didn't even really think about a plan B. I thought we could just tank anything that he threw at us and use the poison. So I grossly overestimated my plan, and the fruits of our labor end up being a Toxapex death out of nowhere. And yeah, I'm still in shock. I am still in shock, but we get the Koala down there, and we do finish off the Crocodile, which is beautiful. Thankfully, the Toxapex poison does come down onto the Sableye, so I mean, the death is still for naught. But we swap into our Passimion here, and we're going to be going for a stab brick break that is super effective against the dark typing. But if you haven't noticed, I am spiraling out of control, and Sableye is ghost as well, and fighting doesn't affect ghost. So I am blundering to the heavens. I don't know what happened. I threw out the manual, I threw out the textbook for this fight. On top of that, the Toxapex goes down, and I was just bewildered. Like, I really was. I'm just like, what have I done? I really wanted to use Toxapex for the rest of the run, potentially take him to the Elite Four, you know, maybe stroll in the park, go out for some ice cream. I don't know. I had dreams, I had moments, and the Toxapex just chilling there fainted is just brutal. But we're bleeding out on the Passimion, we're bleeding out on the Koala Bear, so we're just going to keep pivoting around, see if we can get an open angle, all while the Persian is poisoned by the Toxic Spikes. We're going to eat that Dark Pulse, which is not very effective because Muck is dark in this gen, so that's really nice. And we have an all-out pummeling Z move here that's going to do double damage, on top of it being super effective to the Persian. Now, Persian's defenses are very high, and this move isn't stab. So even with all those factors, the Persian probably will hang on, but maybe the poison can finish the ace, and it cannot, as she holds her ground. And one more tick of the poison will kill. So we can potentially swap out and let the poison tick, or we can all in and just hope that we don't get crit by the power gem. And it does look like I'm going to play a little bit safer. We go into the Mudsdale. However, Nanu completely cheeses us with a Hyper Potion and gets Persian to a much safer space. We're going to go all in on a high horsepower, as the stab does more damage than the super effective Double Kick, since Double Kick does not do a ton. it is a useful move, especially earlier on, but the Black Hole Eclipse comes down and Mudsdale's going to have to hold on. That is a special attack, and Mudsdale's known for its physical bulk, but we do hold. Persian does tick by the poison, and now we have one and a half more Pokemon that are not bleeding out yet. We're going to swap into the Incineroar that we were actually able to secure this time. He is looking fantastic. A not very effective Dark Pulse and beautiful stuff. We don't even have to risk the Power Gem coming down for the super effective damage. We beat Nanu, but at what cost? We lose the Toxapex. So let's take that. Let's move on to the next fight and see if we can just do so much better than how we did right here. It is now time to take on Aether Paradise Branch leader Faba. I believe that is his whole title there. He has the infamous Hypno that put basically our whole team to sleep with last time, but this time we came prepared. We throw out the Lurantis, we get the super effective X-Scissor, the Berry pops, we break out of the Hypnosis, the sleep, and he botches the second Hypnosis, and we put down Faba in about 20 seconds instead of the 10 minutes that he put us through last time. So I am so happy about that. I'm glad we could learn from our mistakes, and now I do believe it is time for a Lusamine or a Lusamine. Let's get in there and let's do this thing right. That's right before you fight Lusamine, it's actually Guzma puppy guarding the door, so we're going to have to take on the boss of Team Skull once again. He's got a very formidable team this time, rocking 4 Pokemon. The Golisopod opens the door to this fight, comes in with a Stab Razor Shell, really good stuff, but the signature Beak Blast comes down and we get the burn onto the very scary Bug. The Masquerain comes in, same typing with the Bug Water, also has Intimidate, which is really nice. And I really underestimated this guy, as in Gen 3, where you typically see him in Emerald or Sapphire Ruby. His moveset is so bad that you don't even really pay much attention to him. However, this is Gen 7, and he's got access to a lot of good stab moves, and Charge Bug almost goes down. And I am just like, okay, maybe I need to take this guy a little bit more seriously. But with a Bug Water Stab, that is a lot of coverage right there that you wouldn't normally think of. So we throw out our Koala. We're going to try to lean into the acrobatics, but we have to tank a Stab Bug Buzz, and we barely do, and the Koala does put down the Bug. Now Pinsir comes in for the revenge, and the Koala is hurting, and I do not want to part ways with my little buddy. He's been here for so long at this point, and I've really come to like him. So we pivot into the Mudsta, who's going to tank a Brick Break. We do get the stamina buff as well, +1 defense with the leftovers on top. Really good stuff. And now we're going to try to lean into a super effective Rock Tomb. It's not a high damage move, but it is super effective, and it potentially drops the speed, so we can maybe win a speed battle here. As we have to tank another move from the Pinsir, and another Stab X-Scissor comes down, the defense stacking. We are really putting a lot of eggs in the stamina basket here, hoping that we do not get crit through that wall that we have built. And now, do we stay in? We absolutely do, but we go with the Heavy Slam so we don't have to worry about the accuracy drop on the Rock Tomb. And now the Gliscod comes back down. He's gonna die to the burn if we just swap into a Pokemon that can tank something. He's most likely gonna go for a Razor Shell, so let's swap into our Passimian, who tanks the Razor Shell, no problem, and the burn does do the fade away. The Toucan flexing from the party. Beautiful stuff there. The Ariados comes down and wants blood. This is the final Pokemon of Guzma, but we're going to lean into an Acrobatics without an item, so the damage is going to be massive. And there goes the Spider. Guzma is defeated, and now let's go take on Lusamine and see if we can do this without losing anybody. Alrighty, Lusamine's team is so good, as she has literally 5 different types. They all have very strong moves, and they're all very good Pokemon in their own right. And it's so interesting with her always opening with Clefable, as Clefable is just a fairy type, just a base fairy, and it likes to spam either not Moonlight, but Moonblast, which is a stab fairy move like Shadow Ball or Flamethrower, and then you have the Metronome. So really, if you send out someone who can tank the Moonblast, the Clefable will always lean into its Metronome. So, and that's such a random grab bag. So if it just uses a bunch of Metronome moves that aren't going to do much to you, you can really ramp up. However, if it does get a random Metronome, much like the Whitney fight in Soul Silver and Heart Gold, or just Silver and Gold, then you could get absolutely shish kebabbed. It really just depends, because we've seen that before with our Geodude versus Clefairy, and that thing just gets crazy. So we send out Ribombee. We're going to try to set up the most favorable matchup here, and that leads us to this Lava Plume, which does no damage because, again, we have the light screen, we have the paralysis, so the Clefable is in prime time right here, prime position to set up on. Now we just got to keep dodging these metronomes, and it does come down with a Nuzzle, which I was very nervous about. However, Kamala's signature passive, where it's always asleep, means it cannot be statted, so the paralysis does not come down from the Nuzzle. On top of that, Clefable is paralyzed from the Stun Spore. Beautiful stuff here. We are just leaning into the Swords Dance. This Koala wants it all. We want the sweep, and the Cosmic Power does come down, so we're going to be talking +1/+1 on the special as well as physical defense side of things. But really, we are maxed out attack right now with a +6 Swords Dance. But that +1 from Clefairy is going to be enough to hold on, and because of that, we take monumental damage from that Moonblast. That was everything right there. However, Clefable could have just kept doing the Moonblast as well, so we kind of got lucky that it didn't. It got a little bit greedy for the Metronome. So now we are in a very dicey spot where the Koala Bear cannot clear the Beware. It's living on 1 HP, and we have lost him. We've lost the sleeping Koala. The cute and cuddly little bear is now permanently asleep. It breaks my heart. It absolutely does. The Beware has no idea what it just took from us, and now we are on the back foot. Our main game plan is gone. The Koala clears the Clefable and then sets up the Beware for the next person. We're just going to send the Ribombee back out there, and this plan has been absolutely thwarted. If we haven't learned anything from these hardcore Nuzlockes, it's that it almost never goes according to plan. So when it does, you really just take that as the Ribombee gets a little bit of health back with the leftovers, and now the Miss Magius or the Miss Magius comes down. And I am hurting. I really wanted that Koala to honestly maybe go to the Elite Four. It was just such a good normal type Pokemon, but we're gonna have to think about that later as we pivot into the Muck to eat the Shadow Ball here. It is not very effective. The Rainbow is gonna have to tank that right off the top. We do lose some special defense as well, but we do have a super effective Crunch lined up, and we also have the Z move on Muck as well, so this should be a stab one shot with the Z move. However, the damage has been done, and Muck is now hurting roughly 60 HP to its name, and I don't think we can tank really anything else, so we're just going to take this Z move, the Black Hole Eclipse, for what it is. But we still have 3 Pokemon, including the Milotic, the Lilligant that killed 4 Pokemon last time, and one more than I am forgetting. Actually, it's just the 2, is it not? Just the Lilligant and the Milotic. So that's it could be worse. It could be worse, but this Milotic is an absolute problem. We do have a grass type lined up though, and I don't believe this particular Milotic has Ice Beam. A lot of the time you will see that. So we're going to take that for what it is. It gets a little bit greedy for a Safeguard. We're not going to worry about that. And Milotic's physical defense isn't as good as its special, so we are going to get a little bit greedy for this Swords Dance here. Just a little bit greedy. Maybe should have just rolled the Leaf Blade, hoping that we could 2-shot, because now if this doesn't kill, that was definitely the play, and it lands both Hydro Pumps, unfortunately, and now Lurantis is in a tough spot. And I think we should have rolled it, especially because Leaf Blade has a high critical hit chance, so we might have been able to get lucky there. If we do 2 Leaf Blades, that could have just been the difference. I'm not sure, but it also doesn't help that Lurantis is not very fast. So that means we're either going to have to swap in, somebody's going to have to tank this Petal Dance, or Petal Blizzard, I can't remember which move it is, but Lilligant absolutely popped off last time. I could not get a clean swap in, and it just did so much damage. On top of that, she is really fast. So it is Stab, and it also has Teeter Dance. So if it goes to confuse us as well, we are in trouble. And we do have the leftovers on Ribombee, but I don't know. It does look like we're probably going to lose someone else. But let's see if we can mix and match and get somebody out there. Potentially just do a swap to see what Lilligant does, because if it does lock itself into Petal Dance, we might be able to outlast that. But it actually goes for the Teeter Dance, which is disgusting, because we could have just stayed in with Lurantis, and I do believe I have a Confusion Berry on the Praying Mantis. That is so silly. We would have broken out of Confusion, used a stab, or not a stab, but a super effective X-Scissor, and I think that would have killed the Lilligant, as the Passimion, the Passimon, the Pissapissasiha gets absolutely nuked by this grass type stab move. This is just insane. This is a boss within a boss battle. I don't even know what to do with this, and it's so funny because grass types are not heralded as this very scary threat because it has so many common weaknesses, but this Lilligant Lilligant is breaking the mold as it goes for that second Petal Dance, and it's not going to be very effective. We hold on with 8 HP. Muck from downtown, the Rainbow Sherbert holding on, and now we are still in trouble here, but we are absolutely still in trouble, but Ninetales is still full HP, and I do believe Ninetales can kill the Lilligant with a stab Ice Beam that is super effective, so that might be the long-term play here. I was trying to stall out long enough to get Lilligant confused so that we might be able to get a cleaner swap, but we are going all in here, hoping that Ninetales is faster, but the Lilligant goes for the Teeter Dance instead of trying to put down the Muck. An absolutely interesting choice, and wait a second, it did Petal Dance. Maybe Petal Dance isn't the one that you get confused of. Maybe that is a different move. I'm not sure. I am not sure, but Lilligant doesn't care. It gets the paralysis off, and now Lilligant is holding on with no HP, but it gets a Teeter Dance, so now we are paralyzed and confused, and if Ninetales goes down, we could potentially wipe, but Ninetales, what are you going to do? It breaks through the confusion and the paralysis, and it says, I am the Alolan Ninetales. Get out of here, and she keeps the entire team safe. Yes, we lost the Koala Bear, but everyone else makes it out alive, and that means we have so many options going forward to fight the final captain as well as the final totem Pokemon, and this could be the run. Oh my goodness. As always, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you on the flip. Peace.